care, please, of the paint, of the paint. Isn't it great? Can't you hear it on the barrel organs? If only I work it up as I think I can, it will go through town like the flu." Jays pulled her out of the way of a noiseless electric brougham. In her enthusiasm, Lily had forgotten her surroundings. Though she was only humming a refrain, her artist's eyes were gazing at a dim and crowded house beyond the footlights. She heard the subdued strains of the orchestra. She watched the conductor's uplifted baton. This was her opportunity, and she must seize it with both hands, now. The motor stole past with silent speed. It had crept too near, and might have knocked her down, but for Jays's prompt help. Yet Lily Paradell was still seeing visions, and being a vivacious young lady, she laughed at the careless chauffeur. "Mind the paint!" she cried. "Mind the paint!" she cried. And a bewhiskered face, crowned by a silk hat, was framed for an instant in the broughams window. "Oh dear," she sighed. "Now I've gone and done it. That was Carlton Smythe. Whatever will he think of me?" To her, the manager of the Pandora Theatre was a tremendous deity, throned high on some peak of the thespian Olympus. In reality, he was a shrewd and cautious judge of public taste in musical comedy, and he was thinking that if the girl would only throw as much animation into the new song on stage as she had displayed in the park, the Duchess of Brixton was safe for 100 nights at least. "See what it is to have a steady-going chap like me handy," said Jays. "If I hadn't been just in the right place, you would have been run over." "Nor would I have been singing, and I'm awfully obliged to you, Nico dear. You know you come first all the time, no matter what the future may have in store." She flashed a look at him, and such a wealth of tender kindliness poured from her deep blue eyes that his brain reeled. He could not guess, Lily herself could not have told him, that friendship rather than love inspired that thrilling glance. Youth, abounding vitality, the first glimpse of beckoning ambition, such was the formula of the magic elixir coursing through her veins on that bright May morning. It rendered her more than ever desirable. Given her favour, no man could resist her. And Nicholas Jays was a man, though neither bright nor swift of nature. Least of all did he understand women, or he would have known that Lily Paradell was simply brimming over with high spirits and good nature. When she loved, she would die rather than offer her love. Yet it was a moment fraught with possibilities. A breathed word, a caressing pressure of the girl's arm, and the divine spark might have reached the hidden store of passion in Lily's heart. Jays's gloved hands were clenched fiercely. He was on the verge of what he regarded as a social precipice, when an aristocratic dame, leading a Pekingese dog, met the two as they reached the path, and gave him a gracious nod of recognition. "Who was that?" said Lily in an undertone. "Lady Valetort," muttered Jays. "Friend of yours?" "Yes, friend of my mother's, to be exact." "She didn't forget to look me up and down. You know heaps of people like her, I suppose. Ought you to be walking with me here, Nico?" "Don't talk nonsense. Why shouldn't I walk with you here, or anywhere else?" "You might have said it was an honour conferred by me, dear boy, but you didn't, and you're right. I'm not in your set." "That word 'set' is the most detestable word in the English language." "There are others, and we wouldn't use them if they had no meaning, but we're not going to quarrel, Nico, because Lady What's-Her-Name raised her eyebrows. Here are the flowers. How perfectly beautiful. Now I can see what you meant when you said last evening that we Londoners would call the gods to witness that there was nothing in the world to equal them if we saw such a display in Paris, yet we passed them by unnoticed in dear old foggy London. But who christened them such awful names? Ah, here is something in my line. Don't touch. Keep off the grass. Don't you see, it's another way of telling you to mind the paint. You'll be in town next Monday? Yes, how jolly! I shall feel more at home if I see you in the stalls, grinning like a Cheshire cat and yelling for an encore. Some girls pack the theatre on the first night of a new song just to make it go. But I shan't. I couldn't, if I wanted to ever so. There's only you and Lal Roper and Bertie Fulkerson, if he hasn't dined too well. Pooh! Bertie Fulkerson, young idiot! Captain Nicholas Jays was himself again, and the North Devon's mess at the Curragh was spared a sensation. But Cupid, perhaps, stole away among the flowers and sulked until some other youthful pair aroused his interest or sought his sympathy. End of chapter 1.